Hey guys, it's Jim here, and today's video is not going to be like any other one I've done on this channel. I'm going to talk about something that doesn't really have anything to do with guitar. A few months ago, we moved from San Diego, California to here in Fort Myers, Florida. And somebody asked me if I regretted the decision. So I'm going to tell you. But first, I'm going to give you my background experience with San Diego. I moved to San Diego in 2013, and I did it the East Coast dream style. I packed everything I had into a van, drove all the way across the country, and didn't have a plan. I figured it out as I went, and I loved it. I loved every little thing about it. It was just the most beautiful city. The weather obviously is fantastic. The food was to die for. The people were pretty cool for the most part, and I had no regrets. I spent a lot of time there, played many a gig, met a lot of friends, yada yada yada. And during that time, I was living in East Village, which is a section of downtown San Diego. And every single night, I would walk home from work and stop at a few bars. One of those bars was one that my wife worked at. So we got to know each other, and that story is kind of a separate thing, but needless to say, we fell in love, got married, had a baby, so on and so forth. So when we moved back to San Diego, because what we had done, we moved to New York once we had the baby because we panicked. We couldn't afford anything out there as far as a house goes. We wanted to really try and do it the American way, the American dream style of having a house, all the space, more family to help out with the baby as far as grandparents and stuff like that goes. And it just didn't work out. New York was not the right call. It was upstate New York. So we ended up moving back to California after only a year out there. Things were going pretty good. We had a small place in an area called Normal Heights. And then, everything that happened to everybody happened. And what that led to is, obviously, I'm a musician. That was the end for me. I was pretty much done for as far as work goes. My wife was bartender. That was the end for her. Not so good. It really makes you reconsider a lot of things. But outside of that, there were a lot of red flags about San Diego, and I know you can see a lot of stuff on the news, and it's hard to take it in for face value because depending on if you're watching it from one side's point of view or another side's point of view, you're going to see the extremes. And for us, one of the biggest reasons, and something that I cannot stress enough, it is not a great place to raise a kid anymore. It's just not. And originally, when we were in downtown still with the baby and she was 2 years old, we would go to a park right off Market Street on Island. Really nice, new location, all that. There were syringes all over the kids' playground in the sand, broken beer bottles, bums screaming and fighting each other at all hours of the day and night. It didn't matter if you were going in the middle of a day on a sunny day. It was just a terrible area to be in. I would be taking my daughter on walks, just kind of through the city, which ended pretty quick, and people would scream at us, people would throw things at us, and I'm literally just holding hands with the toddler. We're not bothering anybody. So we decided, downtown is not good, so we're gonna move. And then we ended up in Normal Heights, which is a nicer kind of suburb about 10 minutes away from downtown. And you would think when you're paying $2,400 a month and you're only getting 600 square feet with barely a closet-sized backyard, at the very least, the parks around there would be pretty cool, pretty nice. Places that you could take your kid, not worry about it. Same garbage you have to deal with. They would lock themselves, the transients and the people that had drug problems, in the bathrooms of the kids' playgrounds all day. So if you wanted to take your kid to the park, first of all, you had to pray that there wasn't any paraphernalia or people asleep on the slides or in the sand or anything like that. You also had to make sure they went to the bathroom first because you're not getting in the bathroom there. And if you have a toddler or you deal with little kids, you don't want to deal with them having to go and not having a place to be able to go. And obviously the stuff with the shutdowns and stuff was kind of the last straw. We're like, we're going to get out of here. This is just, it's not worth the price of admission. Everything was super expensive. The job market for both of us was, a lot different than it was prior to this. And we wanted to be more secure, so we moved to Fort Myers. So we get to Fort Myers. Obviously the house is gigantic compared to the little shack that we were living in, the little back house. Our lawn, just our backyard lawn, is at least 4 times as big as just the entire lot that we had in SoCal. So that's pretty cool. And that led to us being able to buy a dog because we want our dog or whatever pets that we have to be able to have space and walk around and do all this fun stuff. So that was a big benefit of it. And obviously we've settled in really well here. We like it a lot. My kid's kind of trying to still get used to the humidity and the extreme heat, because in San Diego, you might think it's a lot hotter than it is, but it's not. It's really mellow and it's really consistent weather year round. And now that we've been here for 2 months, I have to say, not only do I not regret moving, because I did regret it the first time. When we first moved and we went to New York, I actually went into a little bit of a depression. I was not in a good spot. I didn't want to go, but I knew it was the right thing to do. This time, not only was this the right thing to do, I am delighted that my wife was on board and we did this. This place is infinitely better for raising a kid, and it's not close. So not only did the bills go down substantially, we upgraded the amount of space, we actually make more money now in Florida than we did in California. So it's just this balance went from teetering, and things got really, really dicey. Like I said, I sold a guitar I never wanted to sell, which is, several $1,000s of a rare custom shop Telecaster. And, these things happen, and not everybody has a ton of savings, and we've had a lot of ups and downs as far as stuff goes in our past, but now we're really getting ahead. We have so much more space. We can take our kid anywhere. We don't have to worry about any of that stuff as far as the homeless people, the stuff like that. And I know it might sound like I'm ragging on them, but I don't blame them themselves. I blame the state. I blame the people that run California for letting that problem get so out of hand and not actually helping these people. And when you consider how high the taxes are out there, I won't get too deep into politics, but just think about this for a second. When you consider how much money it costs to live in California and how much money the state takes of your money, why is this a thing? Why do I have to worry about drug paraphernalia, or needles, or knives, or violence, or people locking themselves in bathrooms in public parks that my kids go to? Why am I worried about that? Why is that a thing? But as a whole, I will say there are a few things that I do miss, and those are mainly going to be places. I miss Coronado Beach. Coronado is probably one of my favorite places in the whole world. We have a lot of memories there from before we had Penelope and then after Penelope. It's a magic place, and mostly unaffected by what we were talking about before as far as the situation and how it's changed in San Diego itself. That place is amazing. I miss the Village Pizzeria there. It's the only pizza in all of California I really did love. I missed Ocean Beach. Ocean Beach is pretty cool, but it's another place that was just kind of constantly just going down. Lots of violence, lots of robberies, lots of kind of not so good stuff. And when you take into account that when you're single, none of that stuff really bothers you as much as once you have a kid. And once you have a kid, your priorities change. You're more attentive to safety and money and things like that than maybe you might have been before that. And other than that, I loved Balboa Park, but again, the last 2 times I went to Balboa Park and Morley Field, I took a guitar by myself to Morley Field with a little practice amp, so pink PRS, and I just wanted to play. It was the middle of the day, maybe 12, 1 o'clock, and I played for about a half hour, and then a bunch of transients just came, and they were demanding I give them my guitar and just following me back to my car and just screaming and threatening me. And I was like, this is crazy. This is Morley Field. This is a place where kids are. It's a place that has a bunch of different baseball grounds, which also the baseball grounds themselves, those have become pretty much a camp for the people. So I used to take my daughter running around those fields. And by the end, before we were leaving, obviously I wasn't doing that anymore either. But looking at that city now, I do see some updates. I watched a video showing downtown yesterday. I'll leave a link in the description down below if you're interested in it. And it's really depressing, quite frankly, because what was once such a beautiful city and a place where, like I was telling you before, I was able to walk home every single night downtown, and there was no problems with anything. You wouldn't have to worry about anything. And that was not that long ago. And now, I'm not so sure that I would want to be doing that as frequently or anything like that. And even if I did, I'm not sure any of those bars are open anymore. So many businesses went under because of this, and that also just kind of compounds the problems that I was talking about before with the other people. It's just that city needs serious saving. So to wrap this up, no, I absolutely do not regret leaving. I would do it again in a heartbeat. But I'm going to wrap up this off-topic video. I just wanted to answer that question for somebody that was asking me about that. Leave a like if you like what I'm doing on this channel. I do appreciate that. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you think. If you do live in California, what's it like out there where you guys are? I can't stress it enough. I loved San Diego. I really did. And other than that, subscribe, and I will see you tomorrow for Would I Rebuy This Guitar? Take it easy, guys.